Seems like a nice guy, and he just exudes macho.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, sir.
Yes, have some.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. We're online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. The channel is Nation of Jake, one word, Nation of Jake on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and let your friends know about the Nation of Jake. Get one of them links. Share it on your Facebook page. I'm on Facebook, Nation of Jake. Very simple. Maybe on your Twitter. Let everybody know in your social media circles about the Nation of Jake on The Voice for this Tuesday, August 20th, year of our Lord, 2019. Partly cloudy, 95 degrees. And that's right, high of 97 or so. The heat index, something like 1,000 degrees. Heat advisory. I'm almost certain that all the soccer practices and games will be canceled this evening. The kids will not be going outdoors for recess. They'll be doing the Go Noodle there in their classroom. And there is a watch out now. It's a melting steel watch. So watch out for melting steel and other kinds of molten metals around town because it is hot as blazes out there in the Mid-South. So beat the heat. Drink a lot of water, all the above. Check on your elderly. And be sure to set your thermostat to 90 degrees as per federal recommendations by the Department of Energy. That's right. Yesterday, they said that you should have your thermostat set in order to save energy and conserve energy to 78 degrees when you're walking around inside your home. When you're sleeping, it should be at 82 degrees when you are sleeping in your home. And when you leave your house, you should set it to 85. See, what I say is just go ahead and set it to 90 or go out to your HVAC system and just bash it with a sledgehammer because what's the point in having AC if you can't keep it a cool 71 degrees all the time? And you know what the energy saver stuff? They're like, oh, if you set your thermostat to 75 degrees in the summer and 65 degrees in the winter, you can save $100 a year. $100 a year is well worth it not to have to work up a butt sweat in your own house when you're just hanging out. All right, so forget the federal recommendations. The federal government, they're not even observing federal recommendations. So don't feel obligated to set your thermostat any higher than you want to. You're paying the bill. Now, I wonder what they have the thermostat set at City Hall. There's a Memphis City Council meeting. I've never been to City Hall during a Memphis Council meeting. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever been to City Hall. It's fallen apart. There's a marble facade that is crumbling. They've got leaks in the ceiling when it rains. So I can't imagine the place would be energy efficient. But I guarantee you that the Memphis City Council has it set at 69 degrees. Of course, they're not in the federal government. They're in the Memphis City government. And that building is being cooled by your tax dollars. So they might even kick it down to 65 degrees. You go in on a day like today at the Memphis City Hall, and you're going to see all the city council members all like bundled up, wearing jackets and whatnot. All right. Other than the heat, plenty to get to today in the Nation of Jake on The Voice. Joe Biden back on top, the front runner. That's right, Uncle Joe, the man to beat in the 2020 Democrat presidential race. Kamala Harris, nosedive. All right, we will analyze the latest polls that have come out via CNN. We also have an update on the racist dog in Collierville. And there's a German Shepherd. Of course, he's racist. The German Shepherd is owned by the clergy out there, one of the fathers. I guess, Father Jasek Cowell owns a racist dog, and he is defending himself now, and so is the bishop, against accusations of racism, that he acted in a racist way because of his racist dog. And we'll get into that. That's actually a national story now. I saw it. It made thehill.com. We also have potential pervs in Germantown. Now, if you ever go to your like neighborhood next door or Facebook bulletin board in your community, you're going to see that there are a lot of vigilant people out there. And I found a post on Nextdoor in my neighborhood about potential perverts at the playground right by my house. So I enlisted a sketch artist to help identify this perv. All right, if it even is a true story, we will investigate that today on the program and more on the U of M and its plan to pay janitors $15 an hour. Does the plan exist? There's been some investigative journalism done, a Freedom of Information Act request. I'm not so sure it even matters. And we've got all the local latest headlines from not only Memphis, but around the Mid-South in the news crews. So, like I said, plenty to get to on the program today. This caught my attention today, and it should catch yours as well. The FBI says they have thwarted yet another mass shooting. Potential mass shooting that was to take place here in Memphis at a church, according to the FBI. A truck driver has been arrested after saying he would commit a mass shooting at a church in Memphis, Tennessee. Thomas Matthew McVicker was apprehended in Indianapolis before the plan could be carried out, according to court papers filed on Monday. It's the most recent case in a string of men being arrested around the country for threatening to carry out shootings. So they've been able to thwart, I guess, 4 that I know of, the 3 we talked about yesterday that happened over the weekend, plus the one that we're seeing today that would have taken place in Memphis without having changed any gun laws. That's what I want the FBI to do. McVicker, the suspect here, age 38, made credible threats to conduct a mass shooting and suicide planned for Thursday, according to an FBI special agent in a sworn affidavit. The circumstances of his arrest in Indiana weren't outlined in the affidavit. Earlier this month, a friend of McVicker in the southern Alabama town of Fairhope told an FBI agent in Florida that McVicker had been considering shooting up a church or killing people on the street. Later, in a telephone call, the friend said McVicker told her the church shooting would happen when he was in Memphis on Thursday and he intended to take his knife and slit the pastor's throat. So this guy, McVicker, is telling, I guess, whoever will listen that he plans on doing some pretty bad stuff. So I'm hoping that now, having witnessed, having seen these shootings being carried out over the past few weeks and over the past few years, that people will take the threats seriously and that you have the power to pick up the phone and call somebody. If you have, they've got a tip line. The FBI, they've got a tip line. You can call local law enforcement and they might contact the FBI, but it's the whole see something, say something. If somebody is going to go and tell you gory details of their plans to go and slit a pastor's throat and then shoot up a church, you might want to tell somebody, because I'm no psychologist or psychiatrist or therapist or counselor, but if somebody tells you something like that, it might be a cry for help. People have some severe problems going on upstairs, going nutty in the brain. And if they're going to tell you this, they kind of want to be caught. They want to be stopped. His mother, that would be McVicker's mother, told the FBI that he owned a Ruger P90 handgun and sometimes uses cocaine and methamphetamine. Also good information. The guy's doing coke and meth and has weapons, and he's telling some lady he's going to go shoot up a church. Yes, you go pay him a visit. His mother also said her son is being treated for schizophrenia. McVicker told his Alabama friend, evil entities entered his body and are torturing him. All good info, good on you for making the call. The friend asked McVicker why he wanted to kill innocent people, and he said, they put spiritual snakes and spiders in my bed at night. The FBI agent wrote, I've only seen them a couple times, but they take form and I can feel them crawling on me and under me, he says. So this guy has got some mental issues. These are hallucinatory, if that's a word. The FBI says it confirmed with McVicker's employer that he requested leave time Thursday and that he indicated in the request he would spend the leave time in Memphis. Wow. The affidavit doesn't specify a motive. Well, I mean, other than the fact that they put spiritual snakes and spiders in his bed at night. Retaliation is what that is. It doesn't reveal an exact location, but McVicker insisted that something would happen when he was in Memphis. The MPD was notified of the threat, which did not mention a specific church. Police spokesman Lewis Brownlee said that Memphis police work regularly with state and federal authorities on these type of threats to stay ahead of the curve. Court records in Alabama show McVicker received a ticket for driving a truck in an improper lane in Jefferson County, which includes Birmingham, in June 2014. He was working for Swift Transportation of Gary, Indiana at the time. McVicker failed to pay the fine until 13 months later after his driver's license was suspended. Court records list McVicker's address as Punta Gorda, Florida, but his Alabama friend told the FBI that McVicker lives in his truck. The records don't list a lawyer who could be reached for comment on McVicker's behalf. Now, pretty chilling that this guy had requested time off to go to Memphis to go shoot up a church and slit a pastor's throat after he claims they put spiritual snakes and spiders in his bed and he hasn't seen them, but he can feel them crawling under him. That's all creepy and chilling and scary to think that 2 days from now, this shooting may have occurred. A lot of things could have happened to the guy. Maybe he went on a coke binge and decided not to do it, which I'm almost certain, not as somebody who has used cocaine, but maybe that would have fueled it. The guy's obviously got problems. He's a schizo. He does coke and meth, and he's hallucinating, or things are going on in his head about snakes and spiders spiritually. So I will say this. Good job by the FBI. This is what I want the FBI working on. Manning the tip line, following up on leads, taking threats seriously. Because if you recall, there were a couple of pretty high-profile mass shootings where the FBI, they could have done something about it. Remember Dylan Roof? Or remember the church in Charleston where he killed 9 people using handguns? Yeah, well, they dropped the ball on his background check. He should not have been able to own or possess those guns or that gun. But the FBI botched the background check. The other one is, the FBI admitted, if you recall, the Parkland shooting in February of 2017. They didn't follow up on a tip. They got a tip about the shooter, Nicholas Cruz, who had a lot of problems. The FBI got a tip about the Parkland shooter and did not follow up. They got multiple tips and they did not follow up. So now the FBI seems to be making this a priority, and that's what I want the FBI to do. People don't call the FBI if they don't think something's going down. Any tip is worth following up on. Why do you have a tip line if you're not going to follow up on them? And I'm glad they did. I'm glad they took the call. I'm glad they took it seriously. I would much rather have the FBI trying to thwart mass shootings than going at 4:30 in the morning and raiding Roger Stone's house. 66-year-old guy Roger Stone, who was caught up in the Russia probe, the Mueller probe. They'll send dozens and dozens of FBI agents, SWAT teams, in a giant raid to go get that guy at 4:30 in the morning. Meanwhile, we hear these stories about botched background checks and tips not followed up on. I would much rather the FBI follow up at a desk taking tips from people who are calling you about these mass shooters than sending hot Russian women to seduce George Papadopoulos to milk him for information. Much rather you prevent a mass shooting than go shake down the Greek George Papadopoulos. I would much rather have the FBI following up on mass shooter tips from the tip line than sexting with, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. I would much rather them use the time on the tip line than on their cell phones sexting and then talking about fantasies of getting Hillary to beat Donald Trump. I'd much rather have that. I mean, they should make it a priority, really, the FBI. At least have somebody checking the messages on the tip line. If not, have a live FBI admin. It doesn't have to be an agent. You can just have an admin to field the calls. Oh, yeah, this one sounds important, agent. Oh, yes, there's a guy. Yeah, there's a guy who wants to shoot up a church in Memphis, slit a pastor's throat because they put spiritual snakes and spiders in his bed. Yeah, we might want to talk to old McVicker over here. So, yeah, I'm glad that was thwarted and amazing. Again, this is the fourth mass shooting in the past couple days that has been thwarted without changing a single gun law. It's awesome. Great work by the FBI. Keep it up. We need less raiding and ambushing 66-year-old men who have never, ever committed a violent act, and more following up on insane people, drug addicts, and schizophrenics who have weapons. Maybe just listen to them. If you listen, people will tell you who they are. And when they tell you who you are, believe them. The FBI's on it right now. Yeah, they got a lot of rehab to do as far as their image goes. So they love stuff like this. Yeah, man, you want to go with incentive. Just go with what motivates people. The FBI kind of took a beating PR-wise with the whole Mueller probe. Now they're out to do any good for their image they can. And you know what? I'm fine with it. Go out and stop every mass shooting. Imagine, though, think about this. Going back to it. A botched background check in Charleston and failure to follow up on tips down in Florida. Those are pretty two high-profile mass shootings. Imagine if they were motivated to stop those, which just got lost, I guess. I don't know. And I'm not saying the FBI is making a concerted effort to rehab their image, but this won't hurt. So thank you to law enforcement. Thank you to McVicker's friend for calling in the tip. Thank you to McVicker's mom for giving us the information she gave over that he's mentally ill and that he uses meth and coke. All good information. That's it. Share the information. That's how we're going to stop these things. All right, coming up, we've got Hillary Clinton with a sick burn on Twitter. Yeah, she burned Donald Trump, right? Oh, so many likes, so many shares, because Donald Trump apparently cited a debunked study, and Hillary was right there to burn him. However, was the study debunked? That's a good question. We will, but it doesn't matter, does it? No. The sick burn matters. The truth, not so much anymore. We'll talk about that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
Hey, are you ready for your new baby?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the ABCs of infant safe sleep?
No, what's that?
Babies should sleep alone, on their back, and in their own crib.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thanks.
For more information regarding infant safe sleep, contact the Shelby County Health Department at 901-222-9000 or log on to shelbytnhealth.com. Funding for this was provided by Tennessee Department of Health.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Dan Groban and Phil Menard at Servant Advisors Group call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Servant Advisors Group at 855-260-1000 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 855-260-1000. Servant Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Servant Advisors Group, LLC. Insurance licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, and in Arkansas.
Hi, this is Jim Shoemaker. Join me next Wednesday at 8 a.m. and again on Saturday at 9 a.m. with my special guest, Kurt Zarnowski, president and founder of Zarnowski Consulting. He'll be talking about an update on Social Security. Also, Ben Taylor will join me from Bellevue Baptist Church talking about Bellevue Loves Memphis. If you have questions for Talk Money, send them to talkmoney@shoemakerfinancial.com. That's Wednesday morning. And again on Saturday at 9 a.m. on Talk Money, The Voice, KWAM 990 and FM 107.9.
If you're in need of a professional cleaning service that takes your business as seriously as you do, call Jan Pro Cleaning Systems today. They understand how important it is to establish and maintain a professional image. That's why they offer the Jan Pro Signature Clean and the Jan Pro Guarantee. From regular scheduled cleaning to the tough stuff like stripping and waxing, buffing, carpet extractions, and detail cleaning, Jan Pro does it all. Call today for a free, no-obligation quote. 901-683-4900. Insured and bonded for your protection. Jan Pro Cleaning Systems. Measurable cleaning, guaranteed results.
When you walk into Annie Joe's Karaoke Cafe in Bartlett, everybody really does know your name, and you never meet a stranger. Annie Joe's Karaoke Cafe is a family-friendly place to have fun and serves a full menu including Mexican-American dishes, all-day breakfast, and a great kids menu. With theme nights like Nifty 50s or love songs, they have something for everyone. Located at 5808 Stage Road, make Annie Joe's Karaoke Cafe your next stop for food, family, and fun.
Welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. You're going to go check out the YouTube channel. You can do that, Nation of Jake on YouTube. One word, Nation of Jake. Facebook and Twitter, Nation of Jake as well. In a little bit, a follow-up on the racist dog situation out in Collierville. National story now. Man, the Catholic Diocese of Memphis is all now embroiled in scandal over a German Shepherd who is aggressive towards black people. It's a scandal at this point. Full-blown controversy. All right, so Hillary Clinton slammed President Donald Trump's false claim that Google manipulated millions of votes for Clinton in the 2016 presidential election, saying the debunked study that Trump referred to was based on about half the number of people associated with his campaign who have been indicted. Sick burn by Hillary. Just to back up a second, Donald Trump was referring to a study that we talked about a couple of weeks ago on this program. Ron Hart brought up this documentary called The Creepy Line. And in this documentary about the Creepy Line, he's talking about that's how big tech manipulates us. We go online, we search for something, and then according to Google's algorithm, we are presented with choices. You know, it's kind of like the Bing versus Google. You know, Bing, they say it's not a search engine, it's a decision engine. All right? And Bing doesn't really work out very well. Nobody uses Bing. Everybody uses Google. Google is a verb, right? So you Google something and you get all these suggestions. Not only when you type it in, you get like the autocorrect. You type in Donald Trump, and then it'll say, is a racist, or is the greatest president ever, or is a white supremacist, or is stupid, or whatever. It just kind of completes the search for you. That's one way they may influence you. The other way is their algorithm, how everything shows up. What's the first result in a Google search? So there are some biases at play according to the study. All right, Donald Trump is referring to a study by a guy named Dr. Robert Epstein. This is a Harvard-trained psychiatrist. This guy is a Hillary supporter. All right, this is not some partisan hack. This is a guy who did a study because he kind of sees that Google and other big tech companies have a lot of power with regards to influencing your thoughts or your opinions that you're just trying to search and learn about, right? So, on Monday, Trump made the allegation about Google in a tweet writing, "Wow, report just out. Google manipulated from 2.6 million to 16 million votes for Hillary in the 2016 election. This was put out by a Clinton supporter, not a Trump supporter. Google should be sued. My victory was even bigger than thought." Now, at this point, I'm not sure what this proves. Donald Trump won the presidential election via the Electoral College, which has decided every presidential election in history. The popular vote thing is not legit. No presidential election in American history has ever been decided by the popular vote. But I think that kind of sticks in his craw a little bit, doesn't it? The whole Hillary won the popular vote by 3 million votes. She racked up a bunch of votes in, say, California, because California is so populous, but they only have X amount of electoral votes. So it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter, but apparently it matters to Donald Trump. So he cites this study done by Dr. Robert Epstein. Now, he misreads it. He misrepresents what the study says. But Hillary, she responded in her own tweet. She says, "The debunked study you're referring to was based on 21 undecided voters. For context, that's about half the number of people associated with your campaign who have been indicted." So, sick burn by Hillary. Everybody's like, "Ha ha, get him, Hillary. Yeah, debunked study. Trump's a liar." Right? Well, kinda. The study that Trump was referring to, again, by psychologist Robert Epstein, he had 95 people from 24 states, including 21 self-described undecided voters, conduct election-related searches using search engines Google, Yahoo, and Bing. The researcher then had another group of Americans, hired through the crowdsourcing website Amazon Mechanical Turk, use a point scale to rate the supposed bias of the articles found on the first page of the search results. An extremely pro-Trump article would get -5. An extremely pro-Trump Clinton article would get a +5. Using this method, he found that Google's results were reliably more pro-Clinton in both red states and blue states than Yahoo or Bing results. So really, what he's saying is Google shows more bias than these other search engines did. Using his previous research from elections in other countries about how search engines can affect voter intentions, Epstein came to a broad estimate of 2.6 million to 10.4 million votes potentially affected by search bias in the U.S. in 2016. So Epstein, he does not agree with President Trump that Google physically manipulated the searches or the votes or whatever. He's saying that Google did show bias in his study. And now, just like with any study, this was something he put together that was more broad because he is speaking out against this bias with these big tech companies. He didn't set out for a pro-Trump study. Now, it's been embraced by conservatives. And that's really the problem this day and age. You look for anything, any kind of data, any kind of report, any kind of study, even though this was a study that he put on his own website, not a peer-reviewed study. It was very simple, simplistic. The sample size wasn't massive with regards to how many people he had conducting searches, but really how many people do you need conducting searches? What you need is a lot of searches, which apparently he evaluated something like 43,000 different searches with all these people, some being Republicans, some being Democrats, some being undecided. So for Hillary to just go out and say this is a debunked hack piece, that's probably not true either. But she got the sick burn in, right? In fact, Dr. Robert Epstein, who was a longtime Hillary Clinton supporter, he actually wrote on his Twitter account, Hillary Clinton, whom I have strongly supported for many years, told blatant lies about me today. As a result, I've been subjected to widespread condemnation by mainstream media. I'm going to fight this. Stay tuned tomorrow for my first ever Twitter storm. Now, that was posted 12 hours ago. I have yet to see Dr. Robert Epstein's Twitter storm. By the way, he is not related to the suicided perv Jeffrey Epstein, but Dr. Robert Epstein needs to be careful right now. He's going to go on a Twitter storm against Hillary Clinton, who just had Epstein suicided. She's already ready for this. You're going to get subjected to that Arkanside, Dr. Robert Epstein. So be careful. I'm just kidding. I don't know that Hillary Clinton had Jeffrey Epstein suicided, and I'm almost certain she has no plans to murder Dr. Robert Epstein. I'm almost certain that she is not planning the elaborate murder to be made to look like a suicide on the psychiatrist from Harvard. But that's just it, though. Like, this guy's a Hillary supporter, and he has an idea that people, when they go online and search for something, they're being manipulated. And why wouldn't you think that at this point? Why wouldn't you think that? Google is a big advertising platform. All right, that's how they make their money. Advertising is about bias. Advertising is about influence. So why would you think that politics is somehow immune to the same kind of manipulation that everything else is? It's not. So Google has all this pushback. No, we don't manipulate anything. We don't show bias. All what we do is we have an algorithm. If people are interested in a certain subject, they get the best and most credible sources. And Dr. Robert Epstein is saying, yes, but who are you to determine who those sources are? There are biases at play, whether you like it or not. And I'm not sure you can argue with that. I don't think you can argue against that. The algorithms are written by people. People have biases. They're written in a way that is going to prioritize certain news outlets. And they all have bias these days. And also this. Do you think this does anything? I mean, you think people go, oh my God, Donald Trump tweeted something that wasn't true or that was questionable? Clutch pearls. Where's my fanning couch? No, nobody cares. I will say this, though. You know, you've gotten used to it, though. Ha, ha, ha. Donald Trump tweeted something stupid. Ha, ha, ha. What a liar. Ha, ha, ha. What a dope. Well, the other day, Trump got mocked for claiming that he broke Elton John's attendance record there in New Hampshire. He did. He tweeted out, yes, I just found out we broke an all-time attendance record previously held by Elton John at the SNHU Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire. Everybody's like, ha, 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 Donald Trump sold more tickets than Elton John. Ha, ha, what a dope. He's lying again, isn't he? Isn't he? He has to be. No, well, according to the Manchester Deputy Fire Marshal, Mitchell Cady, supervised the counting of the crowd. Trump was correct. Cady told the Daily Mail the attendance was just over 11.5. He added that the arena staff said Elton John was around 11.3. Can you believe it? Donald Trump outdrawing Elton John. Plus, there were 8,000 or 9,000 people outside. So, yeah. So, listen, if Donald Trump can brag about crowd size, he's going to do it. And if you can invoke that you beat Elton John, do it. But everybody's going to think you're a liar anyway, because nobody pays attention to anything outside of the tweet. Oh, there were empty seats up top. Oh, Donald Trump's so stupid. Look, you can think he's stupid, but take it piece by piece. He says some dumb stuff. He says some stuff that's true and correct. He does some bad things. He does some stuff that's pretty good. It's so weird that Donald Trump's president. I think it all goes back to that. People are still not dealing with it very well. I mean, I'm starting to think that, Hillary Clinton's not taking the 2016 election results well at all. At all. She should retire. She should just go retire. Just go hang out with her grandchildren and just be quiet for a while. All right, coming up, what's the latest on this racist dog? And can we revisit this? Can a dog be racist? I'm not so sure. But they say he's just kind of racist, so I guess it's okay. All right, that's coming up next right here, The Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News update. The White House denies it has a payroll tax cut on the front burner, but officials do admit they're looking at ways to get the economy back on track. CBS's Paula Reed.
Any kind of tax cut, either a payroll tax cut or other tax cuts, they grow the deficit in the short term, but they are appealing to anyone who is concerned about these economic indicators we've seen over the last week, any impact that could have not only on the economy, but also the president's chances for re-election in 2020.
The White House has been in damage control since a survey of economists came out suggesting a majority of those economists see the U.S. in a recession by the end of 2021. Correspondent Ben Tracy.
You have on the one hand the president tweeting out the economy is very strong, but then on the other hand you have him all but ordering the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates, which is something you do when you're worried about the economy.
Factory output and home sales have declined. Business investment also dropping amid trade tensions with China. CBS News update. I'm Jim Chenevey.
This is Clark Howard. If you are a contact lens wearer, you know you're paying so much more for your contact lenses than you were not that many years ago. And the reason is the contact lens industry is basically a price-fixing cartel today. And so the industry has worked heavily to ingratiate itself with doctors to write prescription lenses that are very, very expensive. And most people end up just going to the doctor who does their contact lens examination and have him or her issue their very expensive lenses. But now there are people doing something about it. Costco is doing a huge business with its own lenses called Kirkland Signature, which can save you a ton, including other online sellers discounting. There's also an organization that is very controversial called Hubble, which can save you a ton on your contact lenses.
Have you heard what President Trump said recently?
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Now you can watch Newsmax TV and get the truth about Trump from Bill O'Reilly, Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, and more. Newsmax TV is America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in 70 million homes. Find Newsmax on DirecTV, Dish, Xfinity, Spectrum, Optimum, Fios, Uverse, and more systems. See Newsmax TV today. It's real news for real people.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor.
All right, welcome back.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube, the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake, one word, Nation of Jake. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at Nation of Jake. We've got an update in the curious case of the racist dog. All right, last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, there was this story about Catholic Church of the Incarnation in Collierville. The Reverend Jason Cowell has a dog. The dog is aggressive towards African Americans. Therefore, he didn't think it was the best idea to have a black housekeeper cleaning the rectory. All right, so that turned into a controversy. They've been accused of racism, maybe not directly the Reverend being a racist, but keeping a racist dog. All right, so it just seems to me a little bit counterintuitive. Can you call a dog racist? I mean, we call everybody else racist these days. Racism has been thrown around a lot, and there are racist people out there. There are things that are full-on racist, but it gets thrown around a bit cavalierly to the point where it's wallpaper. It's like Chicken Little. It's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. It's actually the greatest time in history to be an actual racist. If you think about it, if you're an actual racist and you're going around being racist, but because it's being thrown around so liberally, everybody's a racist. So if you're like a racist, you can just say, yeah, they're just saying that. It's like, well, but you're an actual racist. It's like, yeah, but nobody's going to know because if everybody else is racist, then nobody is, right? So it's a great time to be an actual racist if you use that logic. I don't think there's any room for racism. I think it's silly. I think everybody should be judged as an individual. Anybody who marginalizes a group of people based on the color of their skin, no matter what color that is, nationality, anything, it's awful. All right, just not a way to do things. But now we've got racist pets that we have to pay attention to this because now this is on the national stage. This story has gone from a local story here in the Commercial Appeal and over at Channel 5 and Channel 3 and 13 and 24, all the way to thehill.com. And they cover a lot of politics, but also stuff like this. This is from The Hill. The Catholic Diocese of Memphis, Tennessee is now responded and rejecting an African-American woman's assertion that she was denied a job because of racial bias and discrimination, despite her being told that a priest's dog doesn't like black people. The diocese issued a statement on Friday following an investigation into the incident involving a woman who said she was denied a job as a house cleaner because of a priest's racist dog. Now, the story, as we outlined last week, LaShundra Allen had arrived at the home of Reverend Jason Cowell earlier this year for what was supposed to be her first day cleaning the rectory at the Catholic Church there in Collierville. Emily Weaver brought LaShundra Allen to train her up. All right, Emily Weaver is white. LaShundra Allen is black. So they both arrived, and I guess Emily said something like, hey, today's my last day, but I'm training up LaShundra. I'm going to show her around the rectory, what to clean, make sure she knows where the Swiffer wet jet is, all that kind of stuff. But a secretary there at the rectory informed them that this arrangement just wasn't going to work because of the dog. I'm sorry, Cowell's secretary said. We're not trying to be rude here, but the dog doesn't like black people, which is an inartful way to tell somebody that, because that's hard to hear. You don't ever want to hear that. I wouldn't have put it that way. I would have tried to put it more delicately. I would have said, hey, hold on a second. Let me make a call real quick. I probably just wouldn't have come out and said it. I would have actually, if I'm a secretary, I know that's her job probably is to run interference. I would have made the reverend explain it with the dog. Say, hey, we've had some problems with the dog showing aggression towards strangers, so we need to work something out here and make sure that everything is simpatico. Maybe we need to see how the dog reacts to you, and because we've had some problems with this dog around strangers, and maybe left race out of it, maybe for the moment. For the moment, instead of being like, oh yeah, dog doesn't like blacks, get out of here. That's probably not the way to do it. Bishop David Talley, by the way, who I think is like relatively new. He's like the new Catholic bishop around these parts. Imagine being like the new Catholic bishop, and one of the first high-profile things you have to deal with is not so much as any of the child abuse that's gone on in the Catholic Church. I'm sure that's on the ledger. I'm sure that's on the agenda at some point. But having to deal with one of your priest's racist dogs. Bishop David Talley said in a letter to the area Catholics that while the parish staff member's choice of words was highly unfortunate and imprecise, they're not motivated by racial animus. Rather, the concern by all involved was the safety of these women, one of whom was a stranger to the dog, and they knew that attempting to crate the dog would be dangerous when its owner was not present. He acknowledging that the secretary stated that the priest had a dog that was kind of racist. So it was kind of like it was handled improperly, but we didn't not want you to clean the house because you're African American. We didn't want you in that position because we weren't sure that the dog wasn't going to attack you and rip off your face. Talley said that Cowell's dog could be somewhat more agitated initially around strangers with darker skin until the dog gets to know them. He said the dog, a German Shepherd, had once been threatened by a person who happened to be African American. The cleaning company employees interpreted this incident as a pretext by Reverend Cowell, motivated by a desire not to have an African American housekeeper. This is simply not true, says Bishop Talley. In fact, at his previous assignment as a pastor, Father Cowell employed an African American housekeeper the entire 5 years he was pastor. I guess this is before he had a racist dog. So, why wasn't LaShundra given the chance to get to know him? Why didn't? Well, it's because it probably was a surprise. And this secretary, I don't know. Look, I just don't think that this priest lied about it and said his dog was racist so he didn't have to hire a black person. That's kind of jaded, right? That's not giving anybody the benefit of the doubt, especially a member of the church. It's kind of crazy, like if you think about it. It said that Cowell made no effort to come meet Miss Allen. He made no effort to correct any statement about his dog being a racist. Well, so they're just like, he's obviously just doesn't want LaShundra Allen to clean his directory. Look, I would be like, hey, this dog is a little bit aggressive. We've noticed it with people with darker skin. He's a little bit aggressive, and I really do not want you to get attacked by this dog, because if you know anything about German Shepherds, those are the kinds of dogs that are canines, not canines, but canines, right? They're the kind that police have because they're strong. They bust down doors. They're protective. And we've seen these stories about dogs eating children and ripping people apart, limb from limb. I, for one, if you had a dog and I came over and I went to pet the dog, they say, hey, Jake, no, that dog does not like dudes, or that dog does not like white people, or that dog does not like guys with gray beards, that guy does not like you, or that dog is a little bit aggressive towards you, whatever characteristic you have, don't pet the dog. Stay away from the dog. In fact, we're just going to take the dog in another room. I'd be like, hey, thank you, because I do not want to get my face ripped off by a dog. Not today. So the Catholic Church has responded to the allegations, but it's pretty simple. I mean, it was just the dog's behavior, not so much as we don't want this black person, therefore we use the dog as a crutch. I don't think it happened. It just doesn't add up. All right, coming up, potential pervs in Germantown and what to do about it. I'll tell you what I did about it next, right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.CryLike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.CryLike.com.
If you're thinking about retirement, you've got to know it's all about income. Your money making money. The Retirement Income Doctor wants to teach you how it's done. Give us a call and we'll send you a free animated video kit. 848-2-INCOME. 848-2-INCOME. And tune us in, the Retirement Income Doctor, Saturday mornings at 10. Call now for your free income kit. 848-2-INCOME. 848-2-INCOME.
Did you know that your potential customers look at your website and determine your credibility within 8 seconds? Make sure your business reflects the quality service you provide. Contact Control-Alt Design for a free quote today. Today's marketplace is very competitive and you need a professional web presence. Control-Alt Design offers web design at a fraction of what the larger firms charge. Control-Alt Design has been helping local businesses stand out on the web for over 20 years. They also offer logo design, business card design, flyers, brochures, and more. See their work today at ControlAltDesign.com.
You and your friends and associates are invited to attend the Mississippi Senior Expo and Health Fair, Thursday, September 19th from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Brown Missionary Baptist Church, located at 7200 Swinia Road in South Haven, Mississippi. There will be health exams, flu shots, entertainment, and this year, there'll be food trucks on site to allow you to enjoy lunch while you're there, and a demonstration on healthy living by the Silver Sneakers. The Mississippi Senior Expo and Health Fair is promoted by the DeSoto Times and the Best Times. Mark your calendar for September 19th. You'll be glad you did.
All right, so what do you do?
Yes, have some.
When there are reports of potential perverts in your neighborhood? Nobody wants those. Welcome back to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. So the old Nextdoor app. If you got the Nextdoor app, you know what I'm talking about. It's a community app. Basically, it's an online neighborhood watch. You know, people sell stuff on Nextdoor. Just happenings around the neighborhood. Well, I was sent by Wolfman and others a post about the playground that is adjacent to my home. The post is from someone named Allison in the neighborhood, and it reads as follows. Creep at Germantown Riverdale Playground. After watching us as he walked on Neshoba Road, Creep approached my toddler on the playground at Neshoba Park and asked my child if he could use the playground equipment. I told him he could have the entire playground, and he says, I was talking to your child, ma'am, not you. Oh, I have reported this information to the police. A description of person involved. Hair, bald. Top, black t-shirt. Bottom, khaki shorts. Shoes, white tennis shoes. Build, tall and slim, non-athletic. Race was white. Sex was male. Other details, buck teeth, glasses, brown eyes. All right, so with the description, and because I was alarmed, I don't need pervs walking around asking little kids if he can, hang out with them on the swings or the monkey bars. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. And then telling the mom, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to your child. So I enlisted the best guy I know for stuff like this, Tim Andrews. Tim Andrews is a friend of mine from Atlanta. He is a talented radio man. He's also quite the sketch artist. So I sent him the description in the Nextdoor post, and then I said, hey, I need this sketch. So I commissioned a sketch of this potential pervert creeper at Riverdale Park, and I got it. And if you want to see it, you can go on my Twitter account. If you go follow Nation of Jake on Twitter, I've got the entire story outlined, and I've got the sketch, and it's perfect. He's got the glasses. He's bald. He's got the buck teeth, the black shirt, the khaki shorts, and he's saying, pointing, y'all done on them monkey bars? Huh? You done on the monkey bars? Yeah, look, if you're a grown man, you don't need to go start talking to other people's kids on the old playground, okay? You maybe talk to the kid's mom. Say, hey, is your 3-year-old done over there on that bouncy alligator? Because if he's done, I'd like to bounce on that alligator a little bit if it's okay. That's all right. Yeah, my name's Lester. Yeah, I live in the neighborhood. And sometimes I like to come over and bounce on the alligator if it's okay. Yeah, big springy alligator. Yeah, I weigh a little bit more than the kids. I can really, really put some ass into it. Really bounce on that. Is it? Oh, it's a frog? Oh, it's not an alligator. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, thanks, kid. All right, coming up, Joe Biden securing that #1 spot.
Serving Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. The latest news stories are here. This is KWAM Memphis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Real news, real reporting.
I'm Jim Sheneby. The administration looking for ways to get the economy fired up again. And did someone mention tax cut? Natalie Brand reports.
The White House is disputing a Washington Post report that a payroll tax cut is on the table. Payroll taxes are taken out of workers' paychecks to fund Social Security and Medicare. If that tax is lowered, people have more take-home pay, and it's seen as a way to quickly increase consumer spending and possibly delay a recession. A majority of economists now predict the U.S. is headed for a recession by 2021 at the latest.
Well, if the economy is faltering, it's not hurting the big boss that much. CBS's Jason Brooks.
A new study from the Economic Policy Institute says CEOs at the 350 biggest U.S. companies averaged $17.2 million in compensation in 2018, compared to an average of just over $64,000 for workers in those industries. The institute says while CEOs currently make 278 times more than the average worker, that ratio was only 58 to 1 in 1989 and 20 to 1 in 1965.
3 more lawsuits filed against the estate of Jeffrey Epstein over his alleged sexual abuse of women. CBS's Mola Lenghi.
All 3 lawsuits take aim at Epstein's fortune, which his will, filed 2 days before his death, reveals to be worth nearly $578 million. Epstein's brother Mark is the only listed heir.
China and Russia are protesting the recent U.S. cruise missile test, the first for the Pentagon since exiting that treaty with Russia. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Both China and Russia say they're worried this will trigger a new arms race. China accused the U.S. of having a Cold War mentality. The U.S. Sunday tested a ground-launched version of a cruise missile off the coast of California, a test that was banned for decades under the INF Treaty. But the U.S. has now withdrawn from that deal, insisting Russia was violating it.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told CBS this morning he's disappointed at the slow pace of nuclear negotiations with North Korea.
We haven't gotten back to the table as quickly as we would have hoped, but we've been pretty clear all along. We know there'll be bumps along the way.
Pompeo hoping North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will agree to resume talks after 3 face-to-face meetings with President Trump effectively went nowhere. Should parents be giving children nutritional supplements? CBS's Dr. David Agus.
People take them to build muscle. People take them for brain development. People take them because they think they're nutritionally deficient. The parents say, my child isn't eating that well. Let me give him a multivitamin. Yet there is no data to support that. And large concentrations in these pills can be harmful.
On Wall Street right now, the Dow is down 112 points, the S&P off 17. This is CBS News.
The CBS World News Roundup Late Edition with Jim Chenevey.
President Trump held a series of meetings today on the border wall.
Every weeknight on the CBS Radio Network.
It is a horrible scenario, but it happens. Dennis writes about his wife. She was diagnosed with leukemia. In fact, she's a 2-time survivor. And in the midst of all that, they ran up over $1 million in medical bills. Thankfully, they're MediShare members. And Dennis says they are so thankful for that, how others came together to meet their needs. And that's how so many MediShare members feel. This is not health insurance. It's different. You don't have to pay for things you don't believe in. And like Dennis found out, it just works. So if you join MediShare, not only do you save a lot of money, the typical family saves about $500 a month, but you know where your money's going each month. You're helping people. And if the time should come, they'll be helping and even praying for you. So yes, it's different, and as more than 400,000 people now know when it comes to healthcare costs, different is beautiful. Find out more. Call 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
Labor Day weekend traditionally wraps up the summer travel season, and this year it's going to be a busy one.
The trade group Airlines for America says 17.5 million people will fly U.S. carriers during the week-long Labor Day travel period. It says overall traffic is up this year despite the grounding of Boeing 737 MAX jets. The organization's chief economist, John Heimlich, says airline contingency plans have worked.
I think getting through the summer was actually probably the biggest hurdle. The summer is the busiest period of the year.
Looking ahead to Thanksgiving and Christmas, Heimlich says the airlines have had plenty of time to plan, and he doesn't expect any problems if the MAX jets remain grounded this fall. Peter King, CBS News.
An Alzheimer's drug may be the key to reversing brain damage caused by drinking alcohol during adolescence and the teenage years. Scientists at Duke University say the drug donepezil reversed brain inflammation caused by excessive alcohol use. It also appeared to reverse neuron damage. Jim Chenevey, CBS News.
Would you take $100 and throw 80 of it away? If you're taking drugstore vitamin tablets, that's exactly what you're doing because 80% of those tablets are not being absorbed. Hi, I'm naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, creator of Texas Superfood. Many of you take Texas Superfood daily and feel great. But some people tell us they just don't like the taste of green powder or they have a problem swallowing capsules. That's why we created our new line of great-tasting liquid supplements. Go to TexasSuperfood.com/liquid. From multivitamins to products for energy, sleep, joint care, and more, our liquid supplements offer the highest absorption rates available anywhere, up to 96%. Imagine waking up after a great night's sleep feeling rested and ready to handle the day with endless energy and clarity. Stop wasting your money on drugstore vitamin tablets that don't work. Get absorbable liquid nutrition from the name you trust, Texas Superfood. Visit TexasSuperfood.com/liquid to get 20% off. Go to TexasSuperfood.com/liquid. Go to TexasSuperfood.com/liquid now.
DJ, he's been a good dog. What, named after the dog?
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Hey, welcome back.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. Take your pick. You like the AM? You like the FM? We got both. Also online, if you prefer to listen online, you can do that at KWAMTheVoice.com. If you like to watch the show, you can watch me talk BS, kind of barrel through it there on the YouTube channel. Nation of Jake, one word, Nation of Jake on YouTube. You can get me on Facebook and Twitter, both at Nation of Jake. All right, so today, so far, we've covered my favorite story of the day is another thwarted mass shooting. Without changing one gun law, the FBI and other law enforcement have thwarted, I'm counting now, 4 mass shootings since Saturday, which I think is awesome. You have not had to infringe on anybody's Second Amendment rights. And all it takes is by, sitting by a phone and taking some tips, because the general public is sick of this mass shooting stuff. And what they're going to do is they're going to let you know if somebody's out there planning something. Because these guys who plan these mass shootings, they tell people, they talk. Loose lips will sink the mass shooter's ships if you would just listen. And I love that story. The latest one was today. We read about a plot to carry out a mass shooting Thursday at a church in Memphis. I'm sure that more details will come out. But the FBI, they got a call from somebody who knew Thomas McVicker from Punta Gorda, Florida. And he says, yeah, I drive a truck. I like to do coke and meth. These people in these churches are putting spiritual snakes under my bed, in my mattress, and they're crawling all over me, man. So innocent people must die. It was a mass shooting, suicide that was planned for Thursday, but now the suspect is in custody. Hopefully he is being either charged or he's getting the help he needs. If the guy's on coke and meth and he's schizophrenic, he needs to be in a hospital or in an asylum of some sort. I'm not sure if that is politically correct to put him into an asylum or a loony bin, but just make sure this guy does not carry out an attack like that. I'm for it. I'm for the FBI doing this kind of work. Everybody has this romanticized view of the FBI, a lot of Johnny Utah stuff. I am an FBI agent. Sometimes it's the unsexy work. Picking up the helpline, the tip line. Take the call, and then take the number, and then follow up. Follow up on the call. It can prevent these atrocities from happening. They should beef it up, man. Have a mass shooting task force for the FBI. They'll be heroes. Heroes, I say. So I like that one. Racist dog in Collierville. The bishop of the Catholic Diocese says, no. We're not racist. The dog has some issues, and it's for your safety, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, I think that there are people who want to be litigious and claim that they are being discriminated against, even though this is a weird story with a racist dog. Can a dog be racist? Those are all good questions, and all questions you can go back and listen to on the Nation of Jake podcast if you missed the more in-depth analysis of those two stories. We'll move on, though. We've got this 2020 presidential election that's about, 18 months away. Not even. Yeah, about that. Just about. And so, look, I'm not even 18 months. Either way, it's next year. You know when it is, November 2020. But first, the Democrats got to get stuff sorted out. They need a nominee. All right, and it's still early. They have not started the caucuses and stuff in Iowa and New Hampshire. That's like February. But these people are 100% full bore right now in Iowa, in New Hampshire, some of those early states. And this is all about fundraising. All right, so when you look at the polls right now, a lot of people who have money are the ones paying attention to these polls because most of the voters are not. Most voters are not even clued into what the hell's going on. But still, polls are fun to look at and analyze because they can't tell some of the story. They'll never tell the whole story. You're not going to convince me that the poll that says a generic Democrat is going to beat Donald Trump by 10 points is accurate. I mean, there's way too many things that can happen between now and then, and also the samples, all those things, all the above. Joe Biden has expanded his edge over the Democratic field in a new CNN poll conducted by SSRS, with 29% of Democratic and Democratic-leaning registered voters saying they back the former vice president. That's up 7 points compared with a late June CNN survey. No other candidate has made meaningful gains over that time. So the shift returns Biden to a double-digit lead over his nearest competitors. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders at 15% and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren at 14%. Their support is largely unchanged since earlier this summer. Okay, so Joe Biden is the front runner. Now, he had that rough first debate. Second debate was a bit of a mixed bag. He's been going out, though, and he's been committing gaffes of late. Now, he had the whole thing about how poor kids are just as bright and intelligent as white kids, and he had to walk that one back. He's a gaffe machine, and some people within his circle were quoted anonymously as saying that, yeah, they're just trying to kind of limit Joe Biden's exposure. It's a little too early in the game to be protecting the football. All right, Joe Biden, you can't hide forever. Joe Biden, you're going to be 78 years old. Should you be elected on Inauguration Day of 2021? You can't hide that either. These are all big concerns that people have, but he's the front runner, and he's making gains. Imagine this for a second. You don't have to really imagine it, but this is going to put it in perspective for you. Our country is big. There are a lot of people in this country. 315, 330 million. How many of those people are eligible to run for president? How many people out of the 330 million in the United States are over the age of 35 and don't have criminal records, all that kind of stuff? I'm not even sure that's... I think the only requirement is that you're 35 years old in order to be president. So take everybody in a country of 330 million people who are over 35, eligible to run for president. Of all those people, let's say it's 100 million. All right, let's say 100 million people. Out of all those people, 29% think Joe Biden is the best person. That works two ways. 29% of those people, that's a lot of people who think that Joe Biden is the most qualified guy to run the country. Out of 100, 200 million people, if you want to take the full 330 million people out of our entire population of this great country, the greatest country ever, Joe Biden is the best you've got? I know that raises the question, well, Jake, Donald Trump's president. Are you saying that he's the best we got? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. Honestly, it's pretty amazing. You know, people who have the wherewithal to, number one, having the ambition to want the job and then the persistence to go after the job. I think that those things are pretty remarkable. But the fact that we, as a country of 330 million people, a country of vast wealth, the most freedom, we look at a guy like Joe Biden or people like Donald Trump or somebody like Bernie Sanders and say, yeah, out of all these people, these hundreds of millions of people, these are the people we want in charge. Unbelievable. Just think about that for a second. Good Lord. It's amazing. So Biden is your front runner. He is, and it might be the whole electability issue. And he's very electable. His wife, Jill Biden, she says in defense of Joe Biden, and the audio's not very good, so I'll read from the transcript. Jill Biden, quote, I know that not all of you are committed to my husband, and I respect that, but I want you to think about your candidate, his or her electability, and who's going to win this race. And so if you're looking at what you've got to look at the polls, and you know a lot of the times I say, the polls don't mean anything. Polls don't mean anything. But if they're consistent, and if they're consistently saying the same thing, I think you can't dismiss that. I mean, you all have to deal with facts. I know my goal is to beat Donald Trump. We have to have someone who can beat him. And I think if you look at where Joe is in the polls in Michigan or Ohio and Pennsylvania, where we're both from, he's leading all the other candidates. So yes, your candidate might be better on, healthcare than Joe is. But you got to look at who's going to win this election, and maybe you have to swallow a little bit and say, okay, personally, I like so and so better, but your bottom line is that we have the best. We have the best to beat Trump, best chance to beat Trump. You may like another candidate better, but you have to look at who's going to win, and Joe is that person. So basically, she's just saying, look, he might not be the best candidate for you. You might not like him. He's a gaffe machine. He's old. He's an idiot. But when it comes down to it, he's the best. He is your best chance against Donald Trump. The Biden slogan, Joe Biden slogan, all right, this is the guy out of the vast populace of the country, 330 million or so. This is the best guy to run the country. His new slogan is that he is strong, steady, and stable. Well, let's listen to old strong, steady, stable Joe.
Because we further support the ability to dealing with the whole. Excuse me. And so I looked at it anyway. That's what I think. My fact is that the bills that the future president here, that the senator
say that we need a realistic plan. Here's what I believe.
No, I didn't say that.
Here's what I believe.
Go to Joe 30330.
Yeah, I feel better about it. I feel good about that. He's the best that we've got to lead the country. Amazing. But he's up 7 points in the polls. And here's what's getting difficult for anybody else besides Joe in the Democrat field, is that if you're trying to break through, you're trying to get some attention, it's very hard to do with with how much the media wants to report on Donald Trump every day. They report on everything he does, everything he tweets, every inconsistency, every study that he quotes, every time he says that he drew more people than Elton John. Donald Trump sucks all the air out of the news cycle and makes it very hard for anybody to get any kind of ink at all. So our two main takeaways from the poll is that Joe Biden is the best you got, and he's a moron. The other is this. This is actually probably bigger than Joe Biden being the front runner and gaining 7 points. The only other statistically meaningful change in the candidate standings is a 12-point decline in support for California Senator Kamala Harris. Remember, after the first debate, Kamala Harris was the star. She had that moment. She called Joe Biden a racist, made him look old and stupider than he actually is. She stood at 17% support in the June poll, but now has the backing of 5% of potential Democratic voters. That's similar to the level of support she had in the spring before a surge following that initial debate. She's down to 5%. She's there with Buttigieg. She's not that far ahead of Beto. So yeah, oh man, Kamala Harris is hurting. And again, it's very early, but when people are deciding which candidate they're going to back monetarily, this is a really crucial time. You got another debate in September in Houston. And then they're going to have to start thinning the herd. You're not going to have the 24 people or the 20 people on stage in Houston. People like Tulsi Gabbard, Jay Inslee's not going to be on that stage. Hickenlooper dropped out. Tim Ryan's not going to be on that stage. So, yeah, for 5%, going from 17% to 5%, that's a big deal. The whole exchange with Tulsi Gabbard in that debate had to hurt her. If you have forgotten about that, Tulsi Gabbard absolutely destroyed Kamala Harris, painted her as Kamala the cop. And you know that cops aren't very popular over on the left. Let's take a listen to what Tulsi did to Kamala.
Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. When you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so.
Wow, and Kamala just has to take it. Oh my gosh, she had no kind of comeback, no response, nothing of substance, and that may have really hurt her. And here's the thing about Kamala Harris. She doesn't know what she believes. She always wants to have a national conversation about stuff. That's the problem. It's not that, she doesn't look the part, not that, she doesn't have the fundraising or the infrastructure, the campaign structure, whatever they say, the organizational support. Kamala Harris just has no message. She doesn't know what she believes. I think what she believes is this. She believes she wants to be president. That's it. What's she going to do when she gets there? She can't even tell you. But she knows she wants to be president. It's a lot of people up on that stage. They don't know what they're going to do, but they know they want to be president. Harris, Beto, Booker, they got nothing. And it's evidenced by the fact that flipping Joe Biden has a double-digit lead, and he's gaining. What's that tell you about everything? I don't know. Oh, we got more on the dust up about $15 an hour. Yeah, the magical $15 an hour wage that is going to solve all your problems. All your problems will be solved if you make $15 an hour. Well, this whole thing with U of M and the janitors, well, I guess they've done some investigating. Oh, President Rudd's got some explaining to do as to his plan to pay the janitors $15 an hour. We'll get into it next right here, the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
Planning for retirement can be confusing and overwhelming. Tune in to the Servant Retirement Show to hear the current news and events today's retirees need to know. Every Saturday morning at 8 on KWAM, The Voice, AM 990. If you want to talk to Dan Groban or Philip Menard today about your retirement plans, call the team at Servant Advisors Group, 855-260-1000. That's 855-260-1000. Get started on the path toward a comfortable retirement today. 855-260-1000.
I'm Ed Parami, the owner of JanPro, the franchise that helps you be your own boss. JanPro is now the fastest growing franchise in the entire world for the second year in a row by Entrepreneur Magazine. We are growing so fast we need new business owners right here in Memphis right now. So if you want to be your own boss and open your own business, call JanPro at 901-683-4900 to see just how easy it is to be your own boss. For as little as $950 down, you can be a part of JanPro. Don't waste another minute. Call 901-683-4900.
Did you know that your potential customers look at your website and determine your credibility within 8 seconds? Make sure your business reflects the quality service you provide. Contact Control Alt Design for a free quote today. Today's marketplace is very competitive and you need a professional web presence. Control Alt Design offers web design at a fraction of what the larger firms charge. Control Alt Design has been helping local businesses stand out on the web for over 20 years. They also offer logo design, business card design, flyers, brochures, and more. See their work today at ControlAltDesign.com.
The Nation of Jake.
Yes, have some.
Is on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Got the news cruise coming up. Some local news and a little bit of national news, but mostly from around the Mid-South. We jump on the news cruise and go through the headlines. We'll do that in about 15 minutes or so. All right, so remember Dr. David Rudd, the president of the U of M. He got into a very public dust-up with Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris. Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris threatened to withhold like $1 million in funding for the natatorium, the pool, improvements to the Mike Rose natatorium over there at the University of Memphis, saying that we're not going to give you the $1 million unless you pay $15 an hour minimum wage or starting pay, whatever, a minimum wage of $15 an hour, and that's it. That's like the magic number. That's something that Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris is really big on, is paying everybody $15 an hour. All right, and that's your money, by the way. Mayor Lee Harris, he pays janitors like $14.89, right around $15 an hour. He's paying those people with your money. And so, you take that information for whatever it's worth when you go to the polls next time. When you look on Indeed.com or you look on CareerBuilder.com, Monster.com, whatever jobs board there is, the only janitors who are getting paid $15 an hour on those job boards is the Shelby County government's janitor. Okay, when you go to any other company who's paying janitors, it could be a company who's hiring directly, or it could be an ad from a staffing firm, and that's usually what you get. Paramount Staffing, Volt Services Group, whoever it is, Ronstad, and they're going to pay about what the market will dictate for somebody who can go in, empty out some trash, and mop some floors. And again, I'm not belittling the work. You can take pride in that work, but there's a low barrier to entry. You don't have to have a special skill. You don't have to have even a high school education to do that job. And it's a very good job for somebody at that level. Somebody who maybe it's their first job, or maybe somebody who's getting back on their feet, or a second job for somebody. This is not just to beat up on janitors here. But janitors make between $8 and $10 an hour on average. 8 and 10. U of M pays $11.11 an hour, I believe, to the janitors there on campus. And they say that's like a plantation. They wrote a big open letter. If you recall any of this, you know what I'm talking about. The janitors said, hey, we can barely live on this. There are people who have left for better jobs, which you have to ask the question, well, why wouldn't you just leave for a better job if there are better jobs out there? I mean, $11.11 an hour, though, that's a really, really good wage for the type of work, janitorial work. So, look, I don't understand where it comes in. It's like, why would the U of M or Shelby County government, these are publicly funded entities. You would hope that they would be really efficient with the tax money, with the tax dollars. But instead, they're kind of using the tax dollars and the government as a jobs program and some sort of political statement about minimum wage or a living wage. And that's two different things, by the way. $15 an hour and the living wage are two completely different numbers, but they conflate those. They use them interchangeably when they shouldn't be. All right, so I don't know what's so special about the janitors at the U of M to where they've got the mayor of Shelby County willing to withhold money from the university to get them $15 an hour. Now, the whole move to withhold the funds got vetoed, and U of M's getting the money anyway. But now there are some people who are keeping an eye on President David Rudd, because getting into this back and forth with Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris, David Rudd tweeted some things, and now people are asking questions. All right, so from the commercial appeal, during a public spat with Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris, University of Memphis President David Rudd tweeted a definitive plan was in place to provide a $15 an hour minimum wage to employees of the state college in 2 years. Rudd went so far as to tell the commercial appeal that they were 2 years into such a strategy. But a commercial appeal review of emails obtained through an open records request shows no evidence that such a plan existed. A separate request for copies of any plans or memos from June 1st, 2016 through July 10th, 2019 related to implementing the minimum wage salary came up empty. I'm pretty sure I won't live forever, but I'm pretty sure I'll always have to pay taxes, and I'm pretty sure they never had a plan to pay their employees $15 an hour, Harris said in an interview earlier this month. In my opinion, it appears there was some deliberate attempt to mislead the public, and that's unfortunate. According to a July 10th email, just 3 days after Harris vetoed funding to the university in an effort to force them to raise the minimum wage, CFO Raj Kurapati emailed Rudd saying he would work with others to develop a plan, suggesting that one did not exist. I have several ideas on how we get to 15 in 2 years, Kurapati wrote in the email. Now, Dr. David Rudd, this is after he had already tweeted. How does our minimum wage compare to our former Tennessee Board of Regents peers? East Tennessee pays $8.61. TTU pays $10. Austin P pays $10.58. MTSU, $9.79. Tennessee State, $11.28. And U of M, $11.11. So they are just behind Tennessee State, but significantly above all the others. He says, we have a definitive plan. We'll be at $15 an hour in 2 years and in a sustainable manner. So he went on record as saying, hey, we have a definitive plan. But now, they're looking, okay, well, what is the plan? We're asking for emails between you and your CFO within a certain time frame. The commercial appeal requested emails between those two, Rudd and Kurapati, including the phrases minimum wage, $15 an hour, or UCW, referring to the United Campus Workers. That would be in the subject or body of an email from June 1st through July 7th that year, from 2018 to 2019. That records request was fulfilled with the single July 10th email. When asked whether they had excluded emails, including other recipients, a university representative said, your request was only for emails between Dr. Rudd and Mr. Kurapati. So this plan, definitive plan, could have been communicated to someone else. But U of M is just not going to turn it all over. I mean, the investigative journalism, the journalist has to do the investigating and know what questions to ask. Really, I mean, and you can sit there and look at David Rudd as maybe he's just trying to CYA, and maybe he's saying, hey, we had planned on this before, definitive plan. Maybe that's not exactly what we've got, but we do have the intent. I got a plan in my head, 12% of a plan. It's not really a plan, but I'm planning on it. Like, we'll get there. Cool, right? See, Dr. Rudd is having to play politics here. I would not have been as nice about it. I would have said, I don't answer to you, Lee Harris. You're the Shelby County mayor. I don't take my cues from you. Here's what's going to happen. the Shelby County Commission has enough sense to veto this ridiculous a maneuver of you withholding $1 million from us for this pool for the natatorium, which is going to benefit the community, and then you're going to go back with your tail between your legs, and then if you keep pushing me on this, I'm going to reevaluate what we can do with our funds, and I'm not going to pay somebody $15 an hour if the market doesn't dictate that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find a service, a janitorial service, and I'm going to pay them to come in for a couple hours at a time at a very low rate, and they're just going to identify the high traffic areas where the trash needs to be taken out, and then I'm just going to farm it out. I mean, he's going to do what the market dictates, because right now, those people making $11 an hour at U of M as janitors, they've got it pretty good. You don't want to tell people, oh, you're not worth $15 an hour, because look, it's not personal. It's not saying that you as a human aren't worth $15 an hour. You as a human are priceless. But the job you're doing, low barrier to entry, no real special skills. You just got to show up and be willing to do it. That's pretty reasonable. $11 an hour. Now, what do you do with that $11 an hour? Well, you obviously have overhead. Maybe you got to pinch some pennies. Sure, you're not going to live high on the hog, but maybe you can go to school. You can night school, go online, take some courses, learn something, learn a trade, go to trade school, explore for financial aid, and then go develop the skills for a gig that pays you closer to 15, 17, 20, 25. Look, it's up to you. You can do it. People do it all the time. All the time. I know a lady who works part-time at a daycare, preschool. She's a fantastic teacher. One of my daughter's favorite teachers. And you know what? She reevaluated her life. She said, you know what I want to do? I want to get back into what I grew up doing, and that's working in a garage. This lady wants to be an auto mechanic. So you know what she's doing? She's going back to school. This is not somebody who is of means or of wealth. She's not going to law school. She's not going to med school. She's going to school to be an auto mechanic. And she's making it happen. She's working part-time at the daycare, and then she's going to Harvard Tech. She's going to more tech. And she's going to, at some point, make 80, 90, 100 grand turning wrenches, doing diagnostics, working in a service department. She's going to do well, and you can do that. But here's how you don't climb the ladder. Here's how you don't get upwardly mobile. Sitting around and complaining and writing op-eds in the Commercial Appeal about how the U of M is paying you slave wages. It's like a plantation, and everybody's upset. So I would fire those people so fast. I would say, no, hey, look, we're going a different direction. We're going to hire whatever janitor service comes in, and they're going to come in like twice a day for a couple hours, and we're just going to pay them a fee. And then we don't have to pay benefits. And then they're not going to go and write op-eds in the Commercial Appeal calling us slave drivers. That's what I would do. I mean, if it were my business, but it's a public institution and he's got to play these games. It's absurd. Coming up, we got the news cruise. We got plenty of local headlines to get to, and we'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News update. Yes, he is considering a payroll tax cut. Despite earlier denials from the White House, President Trump has confirmed a payroll tax cut is among a number of options being considered to get the economy firing on all cylinders.
I would love to do something on capital gains. We're talking about that. That's a big deal, goes through Congress. Payroll tax is something that we think about, and a lot of people would like to see that.
The idea is that taking less money from paychecks to pay for Social Security and Medicare would get people to spend more in stores, jump-starting economic growth. What the president really wants is another interest rate cut.
I'd like to see a cut in the Fed rate because that should have happened a long time ago. I think they're being very tardy in not doing it and not having done it sooner. They raised too quickly. And, I've been quite vocal on that.
Economists say what we really need is a resolution of the trade dispute with China. CBS News Update, I'm Jim Chenevey.
When you walk into Annie Joe's Karaoke Cafe in Bartlett, everybody really does know your name, and you never meet a stranger. Annie Joe's Karaoke Cafe is a family-friendly place to have fun and serves a full menu including Mexican-American dishes, all-day breakfast, and a great kids menu. With theme nights like Nifty 50s or love songs, they have something for everyone. Located at 5808 Stage Road, make Annie Joe's Karaoke Cafe your next stop for food, family, and fun.
This is Andy Wise, your consumer investigator, and I belong to the Crescent Club. All my Wise choices gather at the Crescent Club for mixers and private dining. The gourmet menu, top shelf. And happy hour? Hey, if you've never had a cocktail 9 stories high on the patio soaking in the East Memphis skyline, then hear this. I won't entertain my clients anywhere else because I made the wise choice. I belong to the Crescent Club, 6075 Poplar Avenue on top of the Crescent Center.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lynn Doyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lynn Doyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
You and your friends and associates are invited to attend the Mississippi Senior Expo and Health Fair, Thursday, September 19th from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Brown Missionary Baptist Church, located at 7200 Swinia Road in South Haven, Mississippi. There will be health exams, flu shots, entertainment, and this year, there'll be food trucks on site to allow you to enjoy lunch while you're there, and a demonstration on healthy living by the Silver Sneakers. The Mississippi Senior Expo and Health Fair is promoted by the DeSoto Times and the Best Times. Mark your calendar for September 19th. You'll be glad you did.
This is Clark Howard. If you are a contact lens wearer, you know you're paying so much more for your contact lenses than you were not that many years ago. And the reason is the contact lens industry is basically a price-fixing cartel today. And so the industry has worked heavily to ingratiate itself with doctors to write prescription lenses that are very, very expensive. And most people end up just going to the doctor who does their contact lens examination and have him or her issue their very expensive lenses. But now there are people doing something about it. Costco is doing a huge business with its own lenses called Kirkland Signature, which can save you a ton, including other online sellers discounting. There's also an organization that is very controversial called Hubble, which can save you a ton on your contact lenses.
Have you heard what President Trump said recently?
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Now you can watch Newsmax TV and get the truth about Trump from Bill O'Reilly, Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, and more. Newsmax TV is America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in 70 million homes. Find Newsmax on DirecTV, Dish, Xfinity, Spectrum, Optimum, Fios, Uverse, and more systems. See Newsmax TV today. It's real news for real people.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor.
All right, welcome back.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Also streaming live on the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake, one word, Nation of Jake. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also the Nation of Jake podcast. You can do that on iTunes and iHeartRadio and Spotify and Stitcher and Spreaker and wherever fine podcasts are heard. Let's hop on this boat. We call this the News Cruise, a leisurely look at the headlines. It's brought to you by our friends at Just Windows Home Services. Give them a call, 751-3934.
News. Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The News Cruise, full of exciting news. The News Cruise, so relax and kick off your shoes.
Now, welcome aboard the News Cruise. Just Windows Home Services can take care of your windows, inside and out, upstairs and down. That's what they do best, is windows. That's what they're known for. But did you know they can also clean a fan way up high, vaulted ceiling? You know, I looked at my fan the other day. It was growing fur. It was disgusting. You know what I'm talking about. Your fan is the same way. Don't act like you're better than me. But if you can't reach it, the guys at Just Windows can. You can give them a call for that reason. You got a chandelier. You got some mirrors, big old tall mirrors, blinds. Outside, clean off your roof, clean your gutters out, pressure wash. You got a deck, and it's looking a little worse for wear. They can come out there and make it look nice. And they can do all that 20% off if you tell them you heard about Just Windows Home Services in the Nation of Jake. Give them a call, 751-3934. That's 751-3934. Get them online, justwindowsmemphis.com. And again, tell them you heard about Just Windows in the Nation of Jake. 20% off your free estimate from Just Windows. All right, so we've got a little bit of a follow-up today in the News Cruise. Talked yesterday about the convicted sex offenders who are hanging out at the McDonald's playground in Raleigh. I guess they call that a playland in Raleigh. Now, Robert Collier, along with Morris Johnson, they're both accused of watching kids, I guess, at the old playground. But Collier says he was just having lunch with a friend, and he didn't know Johnson was a sex offender. It's like, hey, man, look, two convicted sex offenders in the sex offender registry can't go to McDonald's and have lunch together and maybe glance over at the kids in the playland? He says, I never considered McDonald's to have a playground. I never looked at it like that. Come on. Even as a sex offender, I can eat. That's not in the rules. Where I can't eat with a friend at a public restaurant. So Collier's getting kind of mad, defending himself. Court records show Collier was sentenced on aggravated sexual battery and indecent exposure. Police say Collier tried to force an 11-year-old to touch him inappropriately in the Macy's bathroom at Wolf Chase in 2018. This is kind of new. I mean, he was convicted and sentenced just last month. Collier says he was innocent but pleaded guilty because he could receive a suspended sentence with probation. That's why I pleaded guilty, he says. Look, I'm just putting it out there. If you were accused of trying to touch a child inappropriately in a mall bathroom and you didn't do it, would you under any circumstance plead guilty and then agree to be put on a sex offender registry and then have to put a sign in your yard or in your window and not participate in Halloween and not be able to go to the Raleigh McDonald's playland ever again? Was there any circumstance where you would plead guilty to touching children if you did not do it? I can tell you, no chance in hell would I ever voluntarily brand myself a sex offender. Ever. And so I'm supposed to believe that. Oh, I didn't do it. The reason I pleaded guilty, I had no choice but to plead guilty. No, you fight that. You fight it, you fight it, you fight it. He's due back in court Wednesday. He's out on $3,000 bond. So that's the sex offender usually doesn't respond to the allegations, but in this case he did. But man, that's my takeaway. What you did? What you pleaded guilty even if you didn't do it? What? The South Haven Walmart shooter, suspected South Haven Walmart shooter at this point, Martez Terrell Abraham, the man accused of killing 2 employees and shooting a police officer at the South Haven Walmart last month, is fighting extradition back to DeSoto County. As he's fighting extradition, I guess he's at Regional 1, or was it Regional 1, and how do you fight extradition back to South Haven? This isn't Hong Kong. But this is not a safe haven for people who go postal at a Walmart. The South Haven Police Department will seek a governor's warrant to return him to DeSoto County, where he's charged with the 2 counts of murder. I guess this is a legal maneuver, and I guess he's entitled to the best possible defense. But come on, this is not Rio de Janeiro. You can't hide out here and avoid the long arm of the law from DeSoto County. Oh, they've broken ground on One Beale. It's about damn time. They've been talking about this forever. The ceremony this morning at 10 a.m. inside the old William C. Ellis & Sons machine shop at 245 South Front. That historic structure has been saved, and they're going to incorporate it into the One Beale. It's going to be multiple buildings, be home to apartments, a hotel, retail offices, and a new public parking garage with 475 spaces. A $225 million project. That'll be good for downtown. More hotel rooms, more downtown living options. But it's been going on. They've been talking about it, One Beale, for a long time. Carlyle Corporation is at the helm. New U of M, Memphis, New University of Memphis program is going to increase graduation rate for black male students. This is the African American Male Academy, put forth by U of M. I guess they're going to identify kids in middle school, and they're going to work with them, provide tutoring and mentorship to get those numbers up, because that's a goal of the U of M, to get more African American graduates through the school. So that's cool, I guess. Good. Anything to help lift up those folks who have historically had trouble succeeding in scholastics and academics. What do we have here? Oh, this is an odd little story. We've got a treasure hunter. His name is Rich Aloha. Treasure hunter. That sounds like a guy who should have his own YouTube channel, and I think he does. This guy, Rich Aloha, hunts for treasure as a hobby. He was recently diving near Foster Falls in South Cumberland State Park, there in Tennessee. They're in Middle Tennessee, and he found a GoPro. And on the GoPro, he found footage of a drowning man. I guess it was the last moments of this man's life. That's like the worst treasure ever to find. It's a sad and tragic treasure. But the good thing is he was able to return it to the man's family, and they got some closure with, God, how hard is that to watch? Good Lord, Rich Aloha. The man's mom, the man who drowned, his name is Ragland. Richard Ragland, who drowned. His mom says they've watched most of the clips on the SD card from the GoPro, which show her son having a good time on the trip. They have not yet worked up to the final video taken before his death, though they hope it will offer some answers. Maybe that will provide some closure for the family. That's odd. And by the way, Mississippi, down south of the border, has been ranked the most Fortnite-obsessed state in the country, followed by New Jersey, Illinois, Alabama, and Georgia. So people in Mississippi lead the country in Fortnite obsession. Oh, there you go. Another thing to be proud of, Mississippi, teen pregnancy and Fortnite. All right, that does it for the news cruise. We'll get back here. We'll wrap things up and get you set up for the Earl Farrell program that's coming up next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
If you're a baby boomer here in the Mid-South area, this message is for you. We've designed a brand new radio show with you in mind. It's The Retirement Income Doctor, hosted by Dave McAdams of the McAdams Group. Each week, Dave will teach you retirement strategies that have worked year after year, decade after decade, in any kind of market. That's right, the Retirement Income Doctor will teach you these strategies. So join us Saturday mornings at 10 for the Retirement Income Doctor.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lindoyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lindoyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
Yeah, the Nation of Jake is on The Voice for a couple more minutes, and it's just about 10 minutes. The Earl Farrell for Memphis show will be coming your way here on KWAM The Voice at FM 107.9 and AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. Just for these last few minutes, if you want to check out the last few minutes of the show, go on ahead. However, you can watch the whole show when you get on the YouTube channel or listen to the podcast. The Nation of Jake is everywhere. I'm not one of these guys who has been everywhere like Johnny Cash. Today is National Radio Day, from what I understand, and I usually don't partake in these national days. You go and look up what national day is it. It's like 100 of them. But today is National Radio Day, and I've been at a handful of stations. I know guys who have been on so many radio stations. It's like alphabet soup. It's like how many radio stations they've been to. I know the road warriors, the guys who have been all over, been to a dozen different markets. How about you, Earl? How many radio stations have you been on? Can you keep count?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Yeah. 5 radio stations. Do you know all the call letters?
Yeah.
All right, what are they?
First, KOCV.
Where was that?
Odessa, Texas.
All right, cool.
And then KREC in KREG. I'm sorry.
All right.
This has been 50 years
Craig.
ago. Craig, or actually K-Rig for out in the oil fields.
K-Rig.
Yeah.
Got it.
Then FM 100, WRAC, actually 5, 790 AM.
Okay.
And KWAM.
Oh, gotcha, man. You've actually been on fewer radio stations than I have. I've bounced around. Yeah, I got my start at WMFS back when it was a rock station with the big MF
Olsen
in the
worked
middle.
there for a while.
Oh, MFS?
Yeah.
When?
Downtown, right?
No.
What was?
No, we were out on Sycamore View. WMFS. That was 92.9 solid rock. WMFS, Metallica friendly station, is what it was. And that's where I got my start. And then I moved. I went to Atlanta to work for WGST and WKLS. It's part of the Braves radio network. Had dual flagships, so I count them both. And I did more for WGST, which was actually GST was Georgia School of Technology, which was the Georgia Tech station way back. So that's where they got the call letters. I worked for WZGC, which was the game, sports talk in Atlanta. And then when I moved back to Memphis, I've been on 3 stations here, WREC, WEGR, and KWAM. So I'm getting close to being the alphabet soup.
You are.
So I'm getting close. You know, a large part of the alphabet is represented in my resume.
You're still a young man.
Right, yes. I'm 40, and I've been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stations. But that's nothing, man. A lot of these radio lifers, you know, these guys who have worked everywhere, because every other year in radio, you're getting fired.
Yeah, if you haven't been fired in this business, you haven't been in the business long.
Right, exactly. They say that. If you hadn't been fired in radio, you hadn't been in radio long enough yet. So, happy National Radio Day. I hope you continue to celebrate it by listening to the Earl Farrell for Memphis program on this great radio station, KWAM The Voice. You can do that. You got the writer of The Sandlot, the classic.
David Mickey Jones.
David
Mickey Evans.
Wrote The Sandlot. That's big time stuff. So stay tuned for Earl. He's up next. I'll be back tomorrow at 1. And so long, and thanks for all the fish.
This is The Voice